Good morning, everybody. It's time for our Thursday devotional today. And today I want to talk a little bit about the idea of legacy. I was actually reading an article the other day about Mr. Rogers and people talking about all the things that Mr. Rogers did and what he meant and the things that they learned from him. And I got to thinking while I was reading this article, and I've read many articles before specifically about Mr. Rogers and watched documentaries about his life. And, I got to thinking to myself, like, I hope that people talk about me this way. I hope that people think about me this way when I'm gone. I hope that I can leave this type of legacy behind with my boys and with the people that I minister to. A lot of people don't know that Mr. Rogers actually was an ordained Presbyterian minister. He viewed his TV show as his ministry. He set out to show a kingdom ethic of kindness and love to an entire world, an entire multiple generations, really, with how long his show ran. But it wasn't just let's be nice, let's be kind. He tackled some big issues. One of the things I think about is during the height of segregation issues, he consciously made the choice to make the sheriff of his neighborhood an African American man. And he shared his little swimming pool out back with him as they both soaked their feet, which was not something you were supposed to do. He put that kingdom ethic into practice over and over and over. He wanted to show people what God's love really meant in a practical context. And as I thought about this idea of legacy, as I thought about what I hope that people think of me once I'm gone, I had to start asking myself difficult questions. Have I really lived a life that tells that kind of story? That's really what legacy is it's the story that our life tells. Have I lived in a way that will make people think of me this way? Have I lived in a way that affects people in this type of manner? Has my life been lived in a way that it tells the kind of story that I hope that it tells? And if I'm honest with myself, and maybe if you're honest with yourself, maybe our story's not quite where we'd want it to be. We may need to change some things about what's going on. And the truth is, when we talk about legacy from a Christian perspective, I don't want to live this way for myself, but it's about how it affects the next generation. Are we living our lives in a way that it tells a story that brings the next generation closer to God? Because if we don't, my fear is I live my life in a way that we end up like the books of Kings. If you read the books of Kings, it says this phrase over and over and over and over again, that, well, this new king comes up and they lived in a way, they committed the same sins as their fathers and found new ways of doing evil. They lived in the legacy of the generation that came before them, which was sinful, which was far away from God, and they continued down that path. Our legacy is not for ourselves, but our legacy, the story of our life, may help bring people closer to God, or it may help drive them farther away. What is the story of your life? What is your legacy this morning? And I encourage you this morning and this week to get real honest with yourself, to begin to ask yourself difficult questions. Is the story of my life right now a story that's going to lead people closer to God? Or is it a story of myself that's going to lead people to do their own thing? What is your legacy today? And what do you want it to be? Take some concrete steps to begin to move your story in the right direction. You never know the impact and the difference that that might have for generations to come. We love you, bless you this morning.